There are spoilers ahead. My Hero Academia might not be my favorite anime, or my second favorite anime, or even in my top 5. But you know what it is? An anime I've actually watched, which these days is pretty rare in and of itself. As an anime, it is fine, I guess. This is one of the few instances where the anime seemed to have potential, so I switched over to the manga to not poison my brain with the censored, weird version of events animes usually take. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Dabi is my favorite character in the entire series, and yes, I know his real name, but I'm going to refer to him as Dabi because it's easier for me to say and I like saying it. His introduction with a burnt Frankenstein-esque appearance and immediately the irony of him calling some other messed up looking dude gross was just...
oh, beautiful.
Needless to say, he had my heart from the get-go. From that appearance, pretty much anytime he showed up in the manga, I was absolutely smitten with the guy. Honestly, this dude is just a really well-designed character. I like to think that everyone on the planet was not surprised when this dude was revealed to be related to the firefighters. Maybe you were, and that is totally fine, but honestly, after the whole Obito thing in Naruto, I kind of just expect this sort of thing to happen, so it doesn't really surprise me anymore. Dabi being just a general menace to Endeavor and Hawks was great, and him always appearing to be completely numb to whatever is happening around him. It tied in great with his eventual reveal that he basically feels nothing due to the horrific nature of his burns and weird resurrection. The only thing about his character that I absolutely hate is his motivation. I honestly think that him just being a complete and total lunatic that is obsessed with Stain's ideology was well enough, right? You need not say more. But in recent chapters, it's pretty much confirmed that Dabi is actually, well, just really obsessed with Endeavor. My problem with these recent chapters is how different Dabi is treated than Shoto. Shoto appears to be an actual victim of abuse. He's ostracized from his siblings and raised separately. Dabi even wanting to kill him when he was just a little baby. His mother having a mental breakdown and throwing boiling water on his face. His father pretty much beats the crap out of him while training. Dabi, on the other hand, was a literal golden child. He had firepower that rivaled his father, and his training with Endeavor did not seem abusive or sadistic, it seemed completely willing. It wasn't until Dabi's quirk was revealed to have a poor correlation with his body that Endeavor actually took pause, made a semi-decent fatherly decision, and told him no longer to use his quirk due to the danger it posed to him, which, fair enough. To put it into perspective, every time Dabi used his quirk too much, he would get burned. Endeavor did continue to try and create a child that had a quirk without the downside of overheating and eventually achieves that with Shoto. So Dabi has a psychotic meltdown as he is obsessed with being his father's tool meant to surpass All Might. When his father puts his faith in his newborn Shoto, Dabi basically tries to kill him. 5 years pass after this happens. Dabi is still having some serious obsessive issues. He cries to his other brother every night and tries to convince him how Endeavor views them as failures and that is not how a hero should behave. Dabi ridicules his mom for her part in his existence, and I feel like, yeah, his reasoning there was probably better than anywhere else. His mother was poor and was essentially promised to Endeavor in order to basically breed the specific type of quirk they wanted. Her base quirk of ice is the only reason that Dabi has a weakness towards flames. Now both Dabi's mother and father have told him to stop practicing his quirk as it, potentially kills him. He ignores them and tries to increase his power to appeal to his distant father figure. In the process, his flames evolve from red to blue, which is pretty cool, and Dabi seems to gain an understanding of how intense emotions are linked to his quirk's power. He just wants his father's approval at the end of the day, but is once more met with ridicule for using his dangerous powers. Dabi wants Endeavor to come see him practice his newly obtained firepower, but Endeavor does not go to meet Dabi. Dabi, upon realizing this, has an emotional breakdown that is directly linked to his quirk and is unable to properly control his power. He essentially sads himself to near death. Now, this is just me thinking Dabi has some really weak motivation. He wants to make Endeavor suffer, both in reputation and spirit, for the evil that had been done to him, and up until this point it was totally understandable, until they kind of revealed how he was raised. Dabi has less reason than Shoto to be mad at Endeavor, in my opinion at least, right? He had been raised with the belief that he would one day surpass All Might, and just like his father, stubbornly adhered to that dream even when his health was directly threatened by his own quirk. Both Endeavor and his mother urged him to stop. It's not like they chucked him off to the side and said, "Good luck, little firecracker, hopefully you don't self-immolate." Endeavor might have separated Shoto from Dabi, but yeah, it was after Dabi tried to kill him. If anything, there's some gross negligence in having your son attempt to kill your other son and just saying, nah, just, have him go play soccer or something instead of getting him, some form of professional help. Now, don't get me wrong, everything about Dabi isn't completely weird. Like I mentioned earlier, I think he's really justified in his hate for his mother, specifically because she's the main reason he has any weakness at all. It also makes sense that he would hold a grudge against his father for replacing him. But I don't think Endeavor did anything that bad, at least not to Dabi. Did he move on after Dabi seemingly died in 2,000-degree flames where they didn't find anything from him but a bone? Yeah, but it was a timeline of 3 years, and Dabi even gets explained that he was pretty much dead after the accident. It's not like Endeavor saw that Dabi died and just dusted his hands off and moved on to the next day. I get that Dabi is portrayed as this mentally unhinged 7-year-old, but it just seems like such a weak motivation for him to be that mad at his dad, who, by all accounts, was super helpful and accommodating with trying to help Dabi become something more than himself. Keep in mind that I think Dabi is the coolest character in the series. The recent issue detailing the insanity of his quirk being the reason All For One didn't want to use him was pretty damn cool, especially when Dabi melts the statue of All Might, toppling his would-be rival in a metaphorical sense. His quirk damaging him and his hate keeping him alive are both awesome details. I really like Dabi, even though I'm pretty confident he is going to go out realizing he is loved or some other bullshit like that always happens in these mangas. I think having a character whose sole motivation and delve into insanity is directly related to his father having some different favorite child is just kind of lazy, which sucks because, again, I think Dabi is a great character. For this, I have a very simple fix. Dabi hates both his father and mother for creating him, since he has an extremely powerful quirk that is extremely damaging to his body. He becomes disfigured by Endeavor pushing him harder and harder in training, and eventually self-immolates since he has no idea how to control his power. He's saved and grows up with the intent to kill Endeavor for pushing him too far, and aims to sort of punish him with the power he failed to control. There you go. That's it. That would be a better motivation, in my opinion. There's something that the failures of families can always understand, and I should know since I'm one of them. But it's a bit sad, but we'll be okay, right? It'll be okay. Just avoid family gatherings so you don't have to answer that "so what are you doing these days?" question. Like me. Thanks for watching, guys. Honestly, let me know your opinion in the comments down below. I actually think Dabi is the coolest character in this series, like bar none. But I can't get past the motivation. Honestly, for me, it's just the motivation.